everybody. So I have another video coming out, but I thought I'd throw this one together real quick. Some interesting stuff. I just got a fuel injector cleaner and tester and some cheap injectors just to see what happens. I pulled the injectors out of the blue truck, or out of the intake, and they were a mess. So I figured we'll clean them, but at the same time, let's just do a little test and buy some Chinese injectors and see what happens. So these are the injectors. This is a Amazon Chinese injector, same exact part number as the factory injector. They look super similar. You know, how can you really tell, I guess? Of course, the O-rings are a bit different, but if they weren't, they would be pretty identical. 4 holes at the bottom of each injector, as you would expect. So yeah, I figured let's check these out. So I tested all 8 of the factory injectors. They were perfectly fine and matched very well, flowing as you'd expect them to. And then I got these things, and when I threw the injectors in this machine, I put the center 2 injectors as the factory injectors, and the outside 2 injectors I put the Chinese ones and wired them up. And immediately this injector on the left did nothing, and I'll show you what happened here on the right because it's still doing it. But I swapped wires just to see, oh, maybe I did something when I was wiring the injector up, but no, it didn't matter. It was still not working. So definitely was an injector problem. However, I hit stop and start real fast and it actually started to work. So super inconsistent. Already 1 strike for the Chinese Amazon injector. Okay, so to start, I'm going to have this thing on idle speed. Okay, so it's just as if the truck were idling. Again, the outside 2 injectors are the Amazon injectors. 2 in the center are our factory injectors. I also have the fuel pressure set to somewhere around 42 to 50 pounds. And actually the first test we'll do is a leak down test. So all this does is apply 50-ish pounds of fuel pressure and make sure we're not getting anything down through the injector. So hit start. You can hear it working, but nothing's coming out. So that's what we expect. That's good. You can see there we are just at about 48 pounds. So we'll put that right to 50. It's doing its thing. So that's good. So we'll hit stop. And then I'll change this to an idle speed test. So it's, again, just as if the truck were idling. And it will go for a minute. I'm really probably just going to do 30 seconds just so we can see what happens. So immediately you can see, hopefully the camera gets this. No, in an idle test it doesn't really show it very well, but at the higher speeds you can see the flow differences between all of them. However, you can very quickly see that the injector on the right is far more inconsistent than the factory injectors, and this one on the left is actually pretty close. So it's not distributing the fuel as efficiently on the left, and certainly on the right it's not putting fuel, nearly as much fuel through. So another strike against the Chinese injectors. So we're just about now down almost to that 1 minute mark. We'll just let it play out. All right, there we are at 1 minute. Okay, so you can see fuel levels pretty different just for idle from the factory injector compared to the Amazon injector. And these 3 are actually pretty close, but not so much with the one on the right. So we'll dump the fuel, and I'm using mineral spirits, not gas, so a whole lot safer. All right, and then the next thing I'll do is jump to, let's see, we'll just go right to high speed test. This I'll only be able to do for 30 seconds because the capacity of the tube is just not high enough, and it will fill quite quickly. So what you should look for here is the spray pattern from injector to injector, and you'll notice that it's much different. In the center two, the factory pattern is different from the other two on the ends. So we'll hit start. So you should be able to see that wide pattern as it gets to the bottom. And the factory injectors are nice and straight and even. You've got a great spray pattern. And then again, that one there is ridiculously wide. Okay, so we'll get to 30 seconds. And we'll pause it. And again, huge difference left to right. So again, these three are pretty good, but remember, this injector didn't work out of the box at all. So without this machine, I would have been down 7 cylinders. That would be a problem. Well, down 1 cylinder, only running on 7. Until, who knows, start and stop a few times like I did the machine, and then it starts working. But this one, man, we would have fuel economy issues, and it could run lean because that cylinder's not getting fuel. Just a number of problems that I really don't want to ever have to deal with. So to me, this is proof enough that Chinese injectors are junk. It'd probably be impossible to tune with anyhow. They're very inconsistent, and I'm going to send them back. Never buy them again. Pretty good proof. That's it.